Did you know that a consistently negative attitude can reduce the probability of achieving significant goals in life by up to 82.4%? It is a frightening number, which echoes the wisdom of Earl Nightingale when he stated that we become what we think about most of the time. Your mind, your attitude, actively shapes your reality. But before we explore this topic in depth, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate the little bell so you don't miss any video. Nightingale's idea is not mere superficial, positive thinking philosophy of those that tell you to smile at the mirror and decree prosperity without any scientific basis. On the contrary, this statement finds deep roots in cognitive psychology, an area that unveils the intricate mechanisms of our mind and demonstrates unequivocally how our perception acts as an active filter of the reality that surrounds us. Imagine you are walking through a dense forest wearing glasses with colored lenses. If the lenses are pink, the world around you will be tinged with this hue. The flowers will seem more vibrant, the sky more cheerful. Now, if you exchange these glasses for a pair with gray and dark lenses, the same forest will transform into a gloomy and oppressive place, even if the natural beauty remains untouched. A negative attitude works exactly like this dark filter in our perception of life. It has the power to distort reality, relentlessly highlighting the obstacles, the difficulties, and the problematic aspects of each situation, while simultaneously obscuring and ignoring the opportunities, the learnings, and the moments of beauty and potential that exist in every instant. It is as if the mind becomes selective, focusing its attention only on what reinforces the pessimistic view, creating a vicious cycle of negativity. And this is not just a poetic metaphor, it is a finding validated by countless researches that prove the power of our mind in shaping our experience. Our recurring thoughts, those that inhabit our mind day after day, night after night, have a surprising power. They literally shape the physical structure of our brain, creating and strengthening specific neural pathways. Imagine a path being trodden repeatedly in a grassy field. With each pass, the grass bends, the earth compacts, and over time a deep and well-defined groove is formed. In our brain, thoughts work in a similar way. Every time we think about something, especially if it is a thought charged with emotion and repetition, the connections between the neurons involved in this process are strengthened, as if the neural pathway becomes wider and easier to travel. Over time, these thought patterns become automatic, almost reflexes, determining our reactions and behaviors unconsciously. If you nurture thoughts of failure, of difficulty, of inability, if you constantly catch yourself expecting the worst, your brain becomes an expert at finding exactly that. It becomes hyper-vigilant to identify threats, problems, and confirmations of your limiting beliefs, even if reality around you offers countless possibilities for success and joy. It's as if you programmed your brain for failure, creating a true self-fulfilling prophecy. Your vital energy, your motivation, your focus, and your attention are directed almost exclusively to confirm your most limiting beliefs, to seek evidence that supports your negative view of yourself and the world. It is a self-perpetuating cycle that imprisons you in a downward spiral of discouragement and hopelessness. And modern society, with its relentless bombardment of information, often negative and alarmist, with the incessant and often unreal comparisons propagated on social networks, and with the constant pressure for immediate results and success at any cost, often subtly pushes us towards a reactive and pessimistic mentality. We are conditioned from an early age to focus on what we lack, on the problem, on the next crisis, on the imminent difficulty, completely forgetting that the key to a fuller and happier life lies in our interpretation of events, in the way we choose to react to what happens to us. Digital culture, paradoxically created to connect us, often exacerbates anxiety, the feeling of isolation, and profound inadequacy. The virtual showcase of social networks presents us with a distorted world, where happiness is a filter, success is a pose, and real life, with its imperfections and challenges, is carefully hidden. This constant comparison with idealized and unattainable lives makes it even more difficult to maintain a constructive and intentional attitude towards life. Inside each of us, at some level of consciousness, there is a constant battle, a complex dance between opposing forces. One part of you, your purest and most vibrant essence, yearns ardently for growth, for expansion, for exploring your full potential, for experiencing the joy and fullness of life. This part glimpses infinite possibilities, believes in your ability to overcome obstacles and dreams of a bright future. But there is another part, more somber and hesitant, that clings tooth and nail to the known, even if that known is painful and limiting. This is your shadow, as psychologist Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, would say. The shadow represents the repressed aspects of our personality, the fears, the insecurities, the limiting beliefs, and the dysfunctional behavior patterns that often operate behind the scenes of our mind, sabotaging our efforts and preventing us from reaching our true potential. This shadow feeds on the fear of change, the aversion to risk, the need for control, and the comforting familiarity, albeit illusory, of complaining and victimhood. Recognizing this internal duality, this struggle between light and shadow, is the first fundamental step to begin a journey of profound transformation. It is necessary to understand that negativity, on many occasions, arises as a dysfunctional defense mechanism, a misguided attempt by our ego to protect us from pain, disappointment, frustration, and suffering. However, this supposed protection is revealed to be a trap, an invisible prison that prevents us from living fully, from experiencing genuine joy, and from building the life we truly desire. Genuine transformation, the one that frees you from limiting patterns and propels you towards your maximum potential, has its starting point at the moment you consciously decide which internal voice you will feed. In which of these two forces will you choose to invest your energy, your attention, and your focus? The great truth, liberating and empowering, is that although we do not have the power to control all the external events that happen in our lives, the unforeseen circumstances, the unexpected challenges, and the inevitable losses, we possess an inalienable power, an absolute dominion over our attitude towards all of this. This is the radical choice that defines the course of your journey, that separates those who become victims of circumstances from those who become the authors of their own history. Consciously choosing to cultivate a proactive, resilient, and hopeful attitude, even when confronted with the most arduous adversity, requires courage, determination, and an extra dose of self-compassion. It is an act of silent rebellion against automatic pessimism, against the natural tendency of the mind to fixate on the negative, on the problem, on what is wrong. It is a declaration of independence from your own negativity, a commitment to yourself to actively seek the positive side, the learning and the hidden opportunity in every experience, however challenging it may seem. And the good news is that this transformation does not need to be radical or sudden. Start small with gradual and consistent steps. Start monitoring your thoughts, observing the negative patterns that repeat in your mind. Question your negative automatic reactions. Investigate the limiting beliefs that support them. Faced with each challenge, each obstacle, make a conscious effort to focus on learning, on the solution, on the possibilities, even when the difficulty presents itself in an overwhelming way. Deliberately choose to direct your attention to what you can control, to what you can do to improve the situation, instead of fixating on the problem itself or on what is beyond your reach. By persistently cultivating a more positive attitude, more intentional and more aligned with your goals, you not only transform your perception of reality, but you attract different circumstances and opportunities into your life. You become more resilient in the face of challenges. You develop the ability to find creative solutions where before you only saw insurmountable problems. Your relationships become more harmonious and authentic. Your vital energy expands and you experience a profound sense of purpose and meaning. Life around you begins to respond in surprising ways, as if the universe conspired in your favor, because you are vibrating at a different frequency, a frequency of hope, of gratitude, of trust, and of openness to the new. You are focused on growth, on the infinite possibilities that life offers, and no longer on self-imposed limitations and paralyzing beliefs. Slowly but inexorably, you break free from the role of passive victim of circumstances and take your rightful place as active creator of your own experience. You become the protagonist of your journey, the architect of your destiny, the master of your mind and the captain of your soul. And now I ask you, What small change of attitude can you choose to implement today, at this very moment, to start transforming the way life responds to you? Allow yourself to reflect on this question, let it resonate within you, and inspire you to take the first step towards a fuller, happier life, more aligned with your true potential. If this message touched you in some way, if it made sense to you, leave your comment down here, share your reflections and experiences, like this video so that it reaches more people, and subscribe to the channel to continue receiving inspiring messages like this and to build together a community of people committed to personal growth and to the search for a more meaningful life. But this nefarious influence of negativity, so present in contemporary society, is not limited only to the bombardment of bad news and social comparisons on networks. It manifests itself in much more subtle and insidious ways, permeating the fabric of our culture, shaping our expectations and undermining our self-confidence from childhood. Think, for example, about the language we often use, both in our internal dialogues and in our conversations with others. How many times do you catch yourself using expressions like, "I can't," "It's too difficult," "It won't work," "It always happens to me"? These phrases, seemingly harmless, are true seeds of negativity that we plant in our mind, reinforcing the belief in our own inability and paving the way for failure. It is as if, unconsciously, we were programming ourselves for the worst, creating a self-sabotaging prophecy that manifests itself in various areas of our life, from the professional to the personal and the affective. And this negative programming often begins very early in childhood, through the messages we receive from our parents, educators, and society in general. Excessive criticism, depreciative comparisons with other children, unreal expectations, and the lack of encouragement and recognition can generate deep emotional wounds and limiting beliefs that accompany us throughout adulthood, undermining our self-esteem and our ability to believe in ourselves. It is as if we carried within us a relentless internal critic who constantly punishes and devalues us, preventing us from risking, from daring, and from pursuing our dreams with the boldness and confidence we deserve. The Jungian shadow mentioned earlier feeds precisely on these wounds and these limiting beliefs. It manifests itself through patterns of self-sabotage, procrastination, fear of rejection, envy, jealousy, repressed anger, and an infinity of other dysfunctional behaviors that distance us from our true potential and imprison us in a cycle of suffering and unhappiness. Imagine, for example, a person who dreams of opening their own business, but who deep down harbors a deep insecurity regarding their ability to succeed. This insecurity, fueled by limiting beliefs and past experiences of failure, can manifest itself through procrastination, the incessant search for perfection, which is actually a way to avoid starting the project, the fear of making important decisions, and consequently, the constant postponement of their dream. This person may even unconsciously sabotage themselves, making wrong decisions or engaging in self-destructive behaviors that undermine their chances of success, all to confirm their limiting belief that they are not capable, or that they do not deserve to be happy. It is a painful and frustrating pattern, but extremely common, which demonstrates the devastating power of negativity when it settles in our unconscious and begins to govern our thoughts, our emotions, and our behaviors. The good news, however, is that this negative programming is not immutable. Just as we tread negative neural pathways through the repetition of pessimistic thoughts, we can also create new neural roots, more positive and constructive, through the constant practice of elevated thoughts and emotions. Neuroplasticity, this incredible capacity of our brain to reshape and adapt throughout life, offers us the hope and the real possibility of transforming our mentality and, consequently, our reality. But this transformation requires conscious effort, discipline, and persistence. It is not a magic trick or an instant formula. It is a gradual and continuous process of self-knowledge, self-acceptance, and self-transformation. The first step, as already mentioned, is to recognize the existence of our shadow and identify the negative patterns that it manifests in our life. It is necessary to have the courage to look inside ourselves, to confront our fears and our insecurities, to recognize our weaknesses and our limitations without judgment and with compassion. After all, we all have a shadow, we all make mistakes, and we all face challenges along the journey. Perfection does not exist, and the incessant pursuit of it is just another trap of negativity, which prevents us from celebrating our achievements, from learning from our mistakes, and from moving forward with lightness and confidence. Once we recognize and accept our shadow, we can begin to work to integrate it into our personality, transforming its dark aspects into light. This does not mean denying or repressing our negative feelings, but rather learning to deal with them in a healthier and more constructive way without letting ourselves be dominated by them. It means learning to transform anger into assertiveness, fear into courage, insecurity into self-confidence, and pessimism into hope. It is an alchemical process of inner transformation which allows us to access our maximum potential and live a fuller, more authentic and happy life. And the key to this inner alchemy lies precisely in the conscious choice of our attitude. In each moment, in each situation, we have the freedom to choose how we will react, how we will interpret events, how we will direct our energy and our attention. We can choose to let ourselves be carried away by the current of negativity, drowning in complaints, laments, and self-pity. Or we can choose to row against the tide, cultivating resilience, gratitude, hope, and faith in ourselves and in the future. This choice is not easy, especially when we are facing difficult and challenging moments. Negativity has a very strong power of attraction, and it is easy to fall into the trap of victimhood and hopelessness. But it is precisely in these moments that our attitude becomes even more crucial. It's like the popular saying, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to what happens to you that makes all the difference." And this reaction, this response to life's challenges, is a choice that is always within our reach, regardless of external circumstances. Imagine, for example, two people who lose their jobs on the same day. One of them may be overwhelmed by the situation, give in to despair, feel like a victim of fate, and sink into a cycle of negativity and self-pity. The other, on the other hand, may see the job loss as an opportunity for a fresh start, to seek something new, to reinvent their career and to explore their talents and passions. This second person does not deny the difficulty of the situation, but chooses to focus on the solutions, the possibilities, and the learnings that may arise from this experience. They remain optimistic, proactive, and resilient, seeking new opportunities, improving their skills and maintaining faith in themselves and in the future. And which of these two people do you think is more likely to overcome adversity and build a more prosperous and happy life? The answer is obvious. Attitude makes all the difference. And this positive, resilient, and hopeful attitude is not just a matter of superficial, positive thinking. It is a deep and transformative mental posture which manifests itself in all areas of our life, from the way we relate to others to the way we face our challenges and pursue our dreams. It is an attitude that empowers us, that strengthens us, that inspires us, and that connects us with our maximum potential. And this attitude can be cultivated, developed, and improved over time through simple and effective practices such as mindfulness meditation, daily gratitude, regular physical exercise, contact with nature, inspiring reading, socializing with positive people, and developing self-compassion. All these practices help us to strengthen our mind, to balance our emotions, to expand our consciousness, and to cultivate a more positive and constructive attitude towards life. And by doing this, we not only transform our own reality, but we also radiate this positive energy to the world around us, inspiring and motivating other people to do the same. Remember, you have the power to choose the lens through which you see the world. You can choose the pink glasses, which allow you to appreciate the beauty, the opportunities, and the potential that exist in every instant, or you can choose the gray glasses, which imprison you in a dark and limited reality. The choice is yours. And this choice, seemingly simple, can completely change the course of your life. So I ask you again, with even more emphasis, what small change of attitude are you willing to implement today, right now, to start creating a life more aligned with your deepest dreams and desires? Don't wait another second. The time to act is now. And if this message resonated in your heart, if it inspired you in some way, don't let this flame go out. Share this message with your friends, with your family, with all the people you believe can benefit from this reflection. Leave your like down here to show your support and for this video to reach even more people. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so you don't miss any of the next videos, and so we can continue together on this journey of growth, transformation, and the search for a more meaningful and happy life. Let's build together a community of people who believe in the power of positive attitude and who are committed to creating a better world, starting with themselves.